don't come. So my people make you lie down. Yo, yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout. Oh, yo, yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, man of the masses. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun diary politico. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. This one not day of in mind. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he dey hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, Mayegun don't come. So my people make you loud. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My people make you shout. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, man up. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Mayegun.
Hello there.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Mayegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará yìí. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Bó bá ṣe eré, àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré, wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Please share this broadcast, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends and tell them Mayegun today. As you are doing so, read the caption of the broadcast, read the description as well, and then sit back, relax while we have the charts. Mayegun today.
Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé.
Reuben Abati
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn.
versus the obedient.
Àní
APC ẹgbẹ́kẹ́gbẹ́
lórí Facebook.
versus Peter Obi.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
They are now asking for his arrest.
Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé.
Arrest him if them burn you well.
Bọ́bá bá gbé wúrẹ́.
Obedient are also firing back.
Mayegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Mayegun máa bí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Presido bá wí fún.
Thank you so much. Share this broadcast.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Kíkó nìyàn gbówó jẹ. Mayegun máa bí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
The dollar is now 1,045 naira, by the way.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Mayegun máa bí.
Another RCCG pastor is now the EFCC chairman. Dig that.
Mayegun máa bí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn
We
ràkì.
heard about an organization called Igbo APC. You go hear them tonight. Yes.
Mayegun ti dé.
Mo ti dé. Ẹ kú lé. So good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you. From wherever you are watching from. Right? This is Mayegun Live. I was reading about journalism and journalists. I don't know, somehow I was just reading that up. And the definition of journalism is telling stories. A journalist is a storyteller. Somebody that will tell a story that the powerful people do not want told. So when you listen to Mayegun and you're like, story, because I have to tell you this story. You need to connect to the story. These are the type of conversations that are not really allowed anymore. Free will, free convo and all of that. Not anymore in Nigeria. But if anybody now choose to say they want to go into journalism, you want to go into storytelling, you chase this story. And then you tell the world that story that most powerful people don't want it told. That is when you call yourself a journalist. But over the years, I have also come to learn that there are also people called yellow journalists or yellow journalism. These are those that are readily available to the establishments in helping them shape the narratives, which means whatever they want the public to know and how they want the public to take it, how they will present the lie and keep hammering on it until half of the population will begin to repeat that same lie. Yellow journalists. No wonder that the criminals and the crooked ruiners of Nigeria, many of them have invested so much in the media. They don't want the real journalist to chase their story. They want the hired journalist to tell the story, which is going to be their own handwritten lies. And then that will become policy, it will become political precedent, it will become a lot of things, because there is always going to be the media and the yellow journalist that will always be willing and ready to help plant those doubts, presumptions, assumptions, to take your heart and mind completely away from the real issue. And in the case of Nigeria, it works so well. Oh no, it's working so well. And when the obedience started popping out Reuben Abati's name, Reuben Abati again, that Reuben Abati is Reuben Abati. What's Reuben Abati do? They say Reuben Abati said wetin concern Peter Obi inside Chicago State University forged certificates. That Peter Obi is only looking for media attention. That is why he's calling a world press conference. Conference for what? That if Peter Obi loves media, why can't he just go into evangelism? Could Ajeri Jehovah, apologies to you, my people who are Jehovah Witnesses. So, okay, just like that's what comes to my mind. All right, no insult intended. Okay, Eko Ajeri Jehovah begin to appear on TV every day. I think that is what provoked the obedience. Like, insult, which kind of insult be this? What did they worry this man? Everyone knows that Tinubu's this forged certificate, this issue of a criminal past, a lot of Nigerians are already coming under the radar of international communities. You know, people are already being kind of, profiled. Nigerians are reacting everywhere. So he decided, as one of the political leaders in Nigeria of today, in Dayo Nigeria, he decided to speak out too. Like, listen, if I was him, I would save this country this whole stress. I don't need to send people to speak for me. All right? The more you keep quiet, the more those paid cretins will be making up different stories that will completely complicate things for you. An advice, and he called him Chief Tinubu. That Chief Tinubu should come out, all right, and talk to his own people. You are ruining a country of 200 million people. At least you can face them and just talk to them. That's what he said, though. Since that time, it don't be like, say, World War III is about to start inside Nigeria. Let me break it down for you. It was Atiku that went to Chicago, took Tinubu to court, as well as the Chicago State University. The court documents then confirmed that Tinubu forged his certificate. So Atiku then came back to Nigeria and he did a press conference. He called it World Press Conference for 4 days. Tinubu's presidency did not say a word. They did not say pim. When they were asked, would you like to comment on this? They said, we don't respond to frivolities. It is the Supreme Court of Nigeria that is going to confirm whether Chicago State University issued the certificate or not Chicago State University themselves, because they don't have the right to legally confirm if the certificate is fake or original. It is the Central Bank of Nigeria, Supreme Court of Nigeria that is going to confirm it. So they have nothing to say. Okay, fine. Since then, we don't hear anything from them. About 24 hours, so less than 24 hours after Obi saying they do press conference, asking that, make I play you part of it, okay? If he actually says something bad, please tell me, okay? And tell me if it is true that he should just go and join evangelism. Ajinyerere. Ajinyerere. Ajinyerere means evangelist. In Yoruba, we call it Ajinyerere. In English language, you call it evangelist. So tell me, if this Peter Obi look like a Baba evangelist, inside the Itu Baba Ita, you remember that, right? This now waiting cause for Allah be this so.
As Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu's many other lingering identity question marks have further worsened Nigerian less than glorious image internationally. Uninformed outsiders now see every Nigerian as a fraudster, certificate forger, or identity thief. The controversy is unnecessary, just as the implicit global embarrassment could have been avoided. In my opinion, Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu should have saved the nation and himself this protracted embarrassment and undue anxiety. Even in this late in the day, however, Chief Ahmed Bola Tinubu still owes the nation and the world a simple debt of obligation only he can discharge. I therefore respectfully and humbly call on him to immediately and personally mount the rostrum of his present high office to perform a simple task once and for all time. He should reintroduce himself to the nation he governs and to the world for avoidance of further doubt. He should let the world know his name his nationality, his place of birth, his parentage, the primary and secondary school he attended with dates, as well as the actual universities he attended and certificates obtained. It should indicate clearly where and when he did his national youth service. In addition, if at any time he has had a change of name, it should state so clearly and circumstance. That is in itself is no crime. This is a simple task that will take only a few minutes. It requires no affidavit, prolonged court process, spokesperson, agents or surrogates. The task is one that only Chief Bola Tinubu himself, through a direct personal statement, can perform. He must perform this task urgently in order to lay to rest, once and for the last time, the many lingering doubts and valid speculation about his true identity. A leader cannot source a clear, unambiguous personal statement about his identity to political surrogates, official spokespeople, lawyers, or any other person, no matter how highly placed. A matter of personal identity of a leader is too sensitive and central to the function of the office he currently occupies to be trifled with, outsourced, or disguised under the cloak of officialdom. It is about integrity, morality, values, and the rule of law that defines the character of a nation and its people. In his present capacity as a leader of a nation of over 200 million Nigerians, his true identity is a matter of grave national and international interest. The people deserve to know with certainty the true identity of their leader, and this overrides whatever rights he may have to personal privacy. In addition, the international community deserves to know the true identity of the person with whom they will engage on Nigeria. Having stood for an election of elevated office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Chief Bola Tinubu have implicitly undertaken to cede the rights of private citizens in favor of life of open disclosure of his true identity and other circumstances that might be of public interest.
Now, waiting talk with that too. That's less than 24 hours after that, Baba. If you have been following the media, hey, it is like everyone else can talk, not this Obi. Now, let me tell you the accusation now. After delivering that and he left, they believed that Peter Obi's press conference put Tinubu in more bad light than Atiku's press conference. In fact, in their own meetings, they have concluded that Peter Obi is using style to prepare his supporters in rejecting the decision of the Supreme Court, which would then throw Nigeria into anarchy, since supporters of Peter Obi never recognizes Tinubu as president. And with all of this and their role in amplifying and escalating the story of this Chicago State University, the drug dealing, which are also parts of Peter Obi's petitions appeal at the Supreme Court. In case some of you don't know, okay, part of the petition of Peter Obi to court is that Tinubu did not go to the school he said he went. And there are already conflicting information about his date of birth. It was only Atiku that decided to go and put Chicago State University under oath in America. So Obi himself, I don't know if they had any written application to Chicago State University to present the original details of Tinubu to them in their petition. I don't know. But they pointed out the infraction in that is certificates, which indeed, without further evidence like Atiku just did, it's probably going to be like, well, you have not enough evidence, even though they are not interested in looking at them anyway. So Obi was like, let's leave this issue of whether court is going to say it's fake or it's original. Everybody knows that this is a forged certificate. But the only person who can be honest enough and not chicken out like a coward, hiding inside the rock, and then you have like 1,000 other surrogates speaking for him. I was like, you could just come out and just debunk the whole thing and just end it. But he won't. That was when Abati picked on Peter Obi. It was the first. Listen to this.
When I saw the press conference by Mr. Peter Obi yesterday, I thought it was needless. If Mr. Peter Obi is considering a career in evangelism, yeah, there are many people who have gone from other careers into evangelism, but within the framework of the electoral process, what he did yesterday was just, in my view, just seeking media attention, looking for publicity. Why do I say so? The electoral process is effectively a process. If you, as a principal member of the process, if you have any grievances, the best place to go to is the court of law, and which is what Atiku Abubakar has done, the presidential candidate of the PDP, pursuing his matter in the court of law. The last time Waziri Atiku Abubakar had a press conference, he came out and said he wanted the candidate of the NMPP, Rabiu Kwankwanso, to join him, and also Peter Obi of the Labour Party to join him. The Labour Party released a statement and said they were not part of it. Okay, is it that now the Labour Party has changed its mind? The only appropriate forum that Mr. Peter Obi can adopt is to go to court, to say he has issues to raise. But to come forward and then be giving a press conference and moralizing, it doesn't quite fall within the framework of the matter before us. But of course, for publicity purposes, for attention-seeking purposes, what he has said has generated attention. And I think that the response that he has received from Felix Moka of the APC is in place. What Felix Moka has said is that the 8.9 million people who voted for Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the election, in the presidential election, they were not groggy when they did. So there's clearly a division on the matter in Nigeria. And the only place you can resolve it is not through propaganda, it's not media attention, it's in the court of law. So Mr. Peter Obi must be very clear about the fact that the matter is now before the Supreme Court, and it's only the Supreme Court that can decide on that particular matter.
Do you get that? The same talking pattern. When you listen to all the people who are, you probably respect so much or respected. Whenever they want to share their opinion on this, they will tell you, even though if it is forged or if it's not forged, it's this or that, let the court decide the matter. But Abati went so low when he dragged Peter Obi by the top of his kaftan on the streets. So Obi didn't take it easy. They enter him since yesterday. Now only God knows which name they never call Abati. Trust me, you need to go on Facebook, go on Twitter, right? And just type Abati, Reuben Abati. You'll be like, kilo she waiting do omona so ibio. And that is their fear. Their fear is that Peter Obi is making his followers and other Nigerians believe that the court is compromised. If you are waiting for the court to confirm if the certificate is fake or original, you are just on a long thing. And according to them, that is the process. This is Nigeria. This is the process. Whatever they like, they can say in American court. Whatever Chicago State University like, let them say it. This is Nigeria. It is a process. You will wait for the court to confirm if you go school or you no go school. If you have certificate or you don't have it. Even if your school says we didn't give you any certificate, it doesn't matter. In Nigeria process, you wait for the court. But because people have lost interest in court, they have lost trust. There's no trust in Nigerian court system, judicial system, and there is a reason why. You know that. So people already preempted the court. Like, the first time we told you, they will not even look at your evidence. They didn't. They just thrown it out. So this is the second one. You want them to believe that they're going to look at the evidence. Of course, they know they won't. Now, if you don't look at evidence, if you don't review them, if you don't call witnesses, and then you reach your final judgment, and your judgment says there is no evidence, and the court, Supreme Court of Nigeria, bars, there is no evidence that is forged his certificate. So Chicago State University will just be like, well, Nigerian court said he didn't forge it, even though we didn't issue him any certificate. But there's nothing you can do about it anymore. After Supreme Court, who did the court to alone? Yorubas, we Yorubas will be like, oh, I leave you. You know when you say, I leave you for God, they will say, if the king of this earth fail to judge it right, the king in heaven, which is God, we judge it right. So I leave this in the court of God. Court so long. So they go on, they pray for karma and all of that. So Tinubu knows that the process is going to vindicate him and clear him of all of this, but they are so worried about the aftermath, post-Supreme Court judgment. And in their mind, Peter Obi is preparing a lot of you, millions of you, especially those of you who are in diaspora, that every time Peter Obi comes out to talk about what is wrong with Nigeria, he is trying to act moral. He's trying to act like he's not part of them. He's you know, all that stuff, right? They want to be like, which in their way is a dangerous game. They believe that Peter Obi is playing a dangerous game. And Bashiru, APC, Egbekegbe's secretary, which is secretary to Gandola, was on channels after that same press conference. So listen to him. They were like, it was like, even if he forged the certificate, this time that they are bringing this up, this time that they are doing press conference, Peter Obi and the rest, they know what they are doing. They are preparing people so that once the Supreme Court just do anything, people will just pounce on them. That something needs to be done. Peter Obi should be arrested for treason. Atiku Abubakar should be stripped of it's a GCON. You know, Atiku na former vice president. So any vice president will be given GCON, Grand Commander of the Order of Niger. So anybody that becomes president will become GCFR, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic. GCFR. APC is now saying that the second highest honor given to themselves, these rogues, should be stripped of Atiku. Because what they are doing, it is not Tinubu that forged certificates that is bringing shame to Nigeria. It is not Tinubu that is involved in drug trafficking that is bringing shame to Nigeria. It is the people like Atiku and Peter Obi, and people like me, and people like you, and people like many of us that will never let it go. That will never stop talking about it. Every time you are talking about it, you are bringing shame to Nigeria. You are embarrassing Nigeria. You are telling the whole world that Nigeria president is fake. And if you are continuing to say that, you are bringing Nigeria down. Nobody will invest in Nigeria. Nobody will do business with Nigeria. So they are blaming you for calling out a certificate forger, the press idiots of Nigeria. Call. And therefore, it's going to be treasonable. What I'm doing right now is going to be treasonable. For calling Tinubu a certificate forger is going to be treasonable. And do you know what treasonable felony means? It means I am planning to overthrow government with the word of my mouth. They are now accusing Obi of the same. They are already working on how they are going to clamp down on many people. Sure you get now. Many of you, due to your activities on social media, they are already working on how they are going to clamp on you. They're going to arrest a lot of you. DSS will pick a lot of you. Many of you who probably have no plan of leaving Nigeria, you're going to find yourself on the road soon. And it's going to be simply because of what you said before, what you are saying now, and then, what they believe you have contributed as one of those they call the cells of obedient. They call them obedient cells. Obedient cells are like those of you, they believe that whatever passion you are showing on this issue as a Nigerian, well, how can my president this? How can my Kiniko? All your reactions that you are using the emotional of that, they believe that you have been initiated. They believe that a lot of you, unknowingly, you have been recruited to help recruit others that are going to continue to attack Tinubu and his government, that will continue to deny him legitimacy. And what they need to do right now is to clamp on you, send as many of you away, and then, arrest and kill as many as they can. But somebody said, this is another misfire. It's going to be another misfire from them. Because a misfire means that they're going to target the weaklings. Those of you who are in Nigeria, who are still kind of putting up the courage to speak out, you are the weaklings there. The people that is easy to use their illegitimate power on. But more than 80 to 90% of those who are taking this rogue government in Nigeria to the cleaners every day, we are in the diaspora. Do you know that? That the strength of the media that is holding APC down, much like they have not been able to do what they plan to do to you, they are mostly in the diaspora. You will see the IPOB, very strong and formidable. You know them. They are not so close to where you can easily just be picking them up and humiliating them, except for the innocent ones that you'll be looking for, the easy target. Or if you want to clamp down on those outspoken with the real followers and traffic and reach, we are not in Nigeria. Go and check. That is why when you see those ones who are in Nigeria that call themselves influencers, they are neither here nor there, because they are being careful. Abi? So APC, Egbekegbe would need to start paying Interpols. And you will need a lot of that money and a lot of Interpol to track a lot of people then. So you have the Yoruba nation advocates who don't want anything to do with Nigeria too. You know that? You have those who are obedient in their way of thinking. If they pull forces together, maybe Nigeria will have one last chance. I remember some of them telling me on this platform that it is going to be their last shot for Nigeria. If this one fails, they are giving up on Nigeria entirely. That was before the 2023 elections. That's what turned so many of them to obedient. Yorubas, Hausas, Fulanis, Igbos, and everybody from all over the place. In the diaspora, a lot of them actually return back to Nigeria to participate in the charade. But they have learned their lessons today. So majority of these people are those that continue to demand for what is right because they believe they are mounting the pressure, the judiciary, and the rest of all those things they are building on. They are not in Nigeria. They are the most disappointed, in case if you don't know. A lot of them believe that Nigeria had a chance in 2023. Right now, you have no idea how so many of them actually feel towards Nigeria, and they are not Igbos. That's another shocker, right? Okay. So they are planning to start clamping on you one by one, yeah? And they will be putting all of you away for months, no trial. Because in their own warped minds, with that, they will be able to control what people say about them. It is not them doing the right thing, fixing the economy, fixing your standard of living, fixing your insecurity problem. If they do all of that, people will talk nice about them, even if they are not forgetting the crime and the criminal gang they represent. But they are not interested in all of that. They are interested in what people say about them and how to stop them from saying them, because they are those who are letting the world know that Nigeria president is fake, with fake certificate, former drug lord. You cannot say this in Nigeria. It is going to be treasonable. Now listen to what APC, Egbekegbe secretary, had to say on top of this plea that Tinubu should come clean. Tell us who he is.
What I can tell you is that it's unfortunate that Mr. Peter Obi allow the seeming trauma that has affected Mr. Atiku Abubakar to also affect him too. And I would say that perhaps there will be need for our school of psychiatry to begin to look at what could be traumatizing some people after electoral loss. For somebody to spew the kind of rubbish, with respect that I say it advisedly, that Mr. Obi spew in his press conference today, telling somebody who had been the Senator of Federal Republic of Nigeria, Chairman Senate Committee on Appropriation, somebody who had rose in his professional career to be Treasurer of Mobile, somebody who had ruled the most prosperous state in Nigeria, Lagos State, somebody who contested presidential election and won close to 8.9 million votes, to be talking about his identity, I think is preposterous. It shows the kind of mentality and the kind of shallowness of the perspective and understanding of Mr. Peter Obi and his co-travelers, particularly Atiku Abubakar or Siddiq Abubakar, whatever we may call him. So for
you being a senator, a national secretary of the party, you know not to use some words against some high-profile Nigerians who may be offensive.
If somebody decides to be offensive to the #1 city of Nigeria, it does not deserve any other words except words. Offensive. If I ask you, Shinwo Kibaloye, as young as you are, and then because you contested an election and won an election, and somebody is saying you should come clean about your identity, it is argumentum ad hominem. That is argument ad absurdum. You are really live to the level of absurdity. So they're asking, with respect, I don't like using some expression, the questions are very stupid. Stupid in the sense that in the context on which they're asking that question, they're asking it in the context that they even are the one that want to bring our country to a problem. I don't know whether you have looked at the website of BBC today. Their team of 3 investigators, they investigated the alleged issue of certificate forgery, and they came with forensic analysis of what transpired in the misadventure of Atiku Abubakar in the CSU. What are the findings? The registrar of the school admitted that Mr. Bola Tinubu, not Miss or Miss Bola Tinubu, attended Chicago State University. For any decent human being, I think that put paid to the issue. There were also evidence from Chicago State University that there were different formats for which diplomas are issued. And as far as the American system of education is concerned, they don't place premium on, what they call diploma, which is covered certificate. They actually place premium on transcript. And they release also the transcript of Mr. Bola Tinubu. And they also said in testimony, under the position, that the person they are referring to is none other person than person who is sitting as the president of Federal Government of Nigeria. What does any reasonable individual who is not, afflicted by a malady of electoral laws, will say and come to a conclusion. So if at all there is a doubt, there's controversy, is self-contrived, ill-motivated, ill-advised, and of course, it's a journey just, to continue to lie to their supporter. The election have been won, and lost, and this is the first time in Nigeria, Seun, that people are now talking about election being manipulated. They are not talking about results, being written without any ballot in support of. They think that the first, talk about 25% threshold in FCT. And now they are dropping that one now. They talk about the so-called forfeiture in the United States of America. They've dropped that one. Now they are talking about the fact that somebody graduated. You are alleging me, Ajibola Bashiru, that I will forge my LLM, PhD, and BSc certificate, and you have asked me to answer you. I will not answer you. I will just look at you that you are just, wasting your time. So for him to say, what is he saying today? The president should come and address the country. Somebody who had the mandate of the Nigerian people. I think they are descending into the arena. And I think it is high time that the Attorney General of Federation should begin to look whether their act does not even amount to treason. What I can tell you.
Nuisance Lele. Nuisance Lele.
You see how tensed it was. And how fast he was talking. Because he was so angry that they asked him to react to Peter Obi's simple request. May I play that one to you again?
The people deserve to know with certainty the true identity of their leader, and this overrides whatever rights he may have to personal privacy. In addition, the international community deserves to know the true identity of the person with whom they will engage on Nigeria.
Me, Ajibola, somebody will now be accusing me of forging my certificate of LLB, DAD, GGB, DDV, whatever other useless paper is parading. In that contraption. If they ask Dawiri to present the certificate of his LLB certificate, is he going to go and hire lawyers? Or present transcripts? Is he going to go and hire lawyers to stop them from releasing their, those certificates? Would he do so? Do the same thing? He won't. That's why they kept repeating it. The university said they said, he attended their school. They said that, indeed, they gave him a certificate. They don't use certificate. They use transcript and the rest of that. And then they continue to use vulgar language on their national TV. The same language that Dele Farotimi and Kenneth Okonkwo used that riled them. And he concluded, he said, it is high time for the Attorney General of Nigeria to begin to put together 1 and 2 and confirm if Peter Obi and these people are not committing treason. Did you see the way the narrative quickly changed from somebody who forged certificates, presented a fake certificate, a forged certificate, committed perjury, changed his stories many times, and they turned it around to gaslight you for trying to embarrass him. Don't you know that when you embarrass Tinubu, you are embarrassing Nigeria? For asking Tinubu to come out and talk about this, instead of sending that Shongowiri, it's like you are asking Nigeria to come and explain itself. And in order to quickly go on offensive, so that they don't remain in defensive, they had another group. When Atiku did his own press conference, I did not see Fulani APC group or Hausa APC group. Abi Northeast APC group. Abi Northwest APC group. Nothing like that. Like I said, everybody just kept pew. But when it came to this man from the east, the region whose people have been completely condemned from ever becoming the president of Nigeria. It is unwritten. His only crime is that he said he wanted to be president, an Igbo man. And therefore, the entire establishment, they will gather together and do as much damages as they can. Trust me, including using his own people as well. You see this lady, that's an APC lady, Gineka Thor Williams, right? Is from Agu. You know, check it. 1 second. I see it. Is from Agu Aniri Oji River Federal Constituency, and I bet that must be in Imo State or so. Abi, she also had to give a press conference of APC Igbo. But I mean, what do you expect? Everybody is trying to play their own role here. 2-3 years later, they will all come back and say, I regret that. Please, my people, forgive me. I did not know what I was doing. Then I'll be another, I don't know, I'm just saying. Here is the Igbo group saying Peter Obi is bringing shame to Nigeria by asking Tinubu to identify himself. Listen to this.
No. Thank you. His past election, and again, that takes me to today. You know, I had already put up my speech, and suddenly I realized, and I watched my own brother that I respect so much, Peter Obi, who is also a presidential candidate for Labour Party. He came up on a rise this morning to say that our president, a man that is the #1 man of this country, should come out and explain his state. So by now, a man who served 8 years as a governor, you don't know his state, should tell us his background educationally. Is that right?
No.
What am I trying to say here? Is an insult to Nigeria as a nation for you to call out our president, who was massively supported and elected and confirmed and validated as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to come and stand before who? To say he's from this state, from this country, from this region, from the locality. Does he owe us that?
No.
What president owe us now is to take us to our destination of choice. Yes. So I'm disappointed in a man that I respect so much, my brother, who stood firm to run for the Igbos. It may not be turned now, but it could come in future. But whatever he does now is going to play out in future. So let us be cautioned, and let all Igbos not be misled by this press interview that our own brother Peter Obi granted their rights. Thank you. On this
Nuisance lele.
It is smoke Igbo. It is taking them.
Igbo Kwenu. Have you seen that video where Tinubu was doing Igbo Kwenu? He said Igbo Kwenu. He said, hey. Igbo Kwenu. He said, hey. Igbo Kwenu. Everybody just burst into a big laughter like, oh, no shit, Fagbana you. I think it was somewhere in, is it Anambra, Abiboni, no? You remember that video? Some people don't mix it. They don't go push sound inside that video. They do, like, I know those laughing sound, like, like, if not, I will share the video with you. So that is our sister Adama from Enugu, who was like, Igbos, don't let Peter Obi mislead you. Since the time immemorial, everybody knows that the obedient, they are not just Igbos. In fact, the obedient who are non-Igbos are far more than the obedient that are Igbos. Something you can call, expectedly, wherever you come from in Nigeria should play a role, right? In where you are running for office or something like that. They know that, if they say obedient are Igbo, it is a kind of propaganda that they have been doing so well to pass on to you, and so many of you. Chai, you believe that. But the available facts have shown that the obedient that are non-Igbos across Nigeria, they far outweigh the entire Igbos that possibly support Peter Obi. Far. For example, would you say Abuja is Onitsha? That disobedient, they dethrone the only senator who has been senator of Abuja FCT since 1999. 24 years. You remember him? What's that his name again? Philip Aduda. This obedient, they defeated APC, PDP inside the Aso Rock when Bokwari was president. Inside the Aso Villa. They defeated them there. Don't pretend that you don't know. Are you still pretending? Okay. I may not be able to change your mind, but at least the truth. Lies cannot replace the truth. Fictions cannot replace facts. Sure, you know. This Igbo obedient delivered places like Plateau, places like Benue. These are places classed as North Central of Nigeria. This obedient defeated the APC PDP in Kaduna. And you all know how the system was rigged against them. If they were allowed, like, everybody just go and do one man, one vote, count them, upload them. You know the story will be different today. You know it. But, if not because disobedient self, they are very, very stubborn and strong and persistent in it. By now, Unago don't change the entire story of the election. Unago don't rewrite them. To the point that when you now tell people sometimes in the future, I say, this is what happened. They say, I didn't know that happened though. So is that what happened? Is that how it happened? I said, because disobedient are very stubborn. They're everywhere, every day. They know they leave everybody. So that they continue to remind themselves what they passed through. And they've lasted for how many months now? Nearly 8 months after the election. This is like over a year now that they've started their obedient movement. But they've managed to plant it in some of you's head. Peter Obi, Igbos, obedient. You want me to go and support Omo Igbo ni? You and this, you are allowing this Igbo to deceive you. You are a Yoruba man. You are calling yourself obedient. You are allowing the Igbos to deceive you. They continue to put the Igbos in it. Meanwhile, on these streets, on record, all of us knows that the IPOB, if they should have their pound of flesh on Peter Obi, they will celebrate his loss, because to them, it seems to be using that his privileged position wrongly. They believed that if somebody like him, and many like him, should channel the same energy at which they are discussing how they want to fix Nigeria, if they should channel it to the entire Eastern Nigeria's debacle, the issue of Biafra, referendum, and respect for the Igbo people, would have been much, 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 much better than this. But because people like Obi want to satisfy the owners of Nigeria, he decided to turn his back on the plight of an ordinary Igbo man and woman in Igbo land today. That they believe that despite the state-sponsored killings against Igbos in the name of looking for IPOB, that somebody like Peter Obi's statement on it, identifying this enough, not just mention, like putting foot on ground and mobilize to say, you cannot be killing these people like this, that could indeed be a checkmate for this murderous system called Nigerian system. So to the IPOB side, Peter Obi is not just a distraction, it's a sellout. So it will be so foolhardy for you to see obedient and begin to drop Igbos and IPOB in it. But we know the propaganda, we know why. It won't make any sense if you don't have IPOB, Igbos, Peter Obi. It won't really drive, it won't push your agenda. Meanwhile, you know that in reality, these are not that connected. You know it. Abibeko? Anyway, they want the narrative to be like Peter Obi is representing Igbos, as if to say the Igbos, they did a regional meeting and they all now came together and they now took Peter Obi and they said, Peter Obi is our candidate in this Nigeria election. There was nothing like that. On ground, there were factual evidence that the political establishment of Eastern Nigeria, the one Nigerianist Igbo elite, they turned away from Peter Obi. Majority of them. They never wanted to be identified with him. Many of them came publicly to say he's taking their shine off. It's distracting them. It's going to make them miss their opportunity. You all saw all of that. But it still won't make any sense to you if you don't say Peter Obi and his obedient in call, they are Igbos. I gave you these examples because they are true. Okay? If there's anywhere Peter Obi enjoyed an absolute support, that are mostly, in so many instances, in what Nigeria is today, you would say unexpected places. They are mostly from outside Igbo land. While back in Igbo land, for who he is, he also enjoyed that same home support. Same thing you would expect for the other candidates too. But there is a generation that they want to identify with tribe, religion, regions, and all of that. And they call themselves the obedient. Anything, just anything that can help get things right in Nigeria is what they are so interested in, ignorantly. And that is where some of us who have lost any emotional attachment to, the failing Nigeria, continue to say, life is a teacher. Remember that life is a teacher. The more you live, the more you learn. And on Mayegun's Diary Political, I have also done my best to make everyone who has a stone to grind with this faulty Nigeria to what? To mingle together, okay? In a way that they will eventually find a common ground and face the common enemy, which is the system, no matter who is in charge. Peter Obi is not interested in Nigeria breaking up. You know that. And then you know that majority of the Igbos, if you give them referendum today, they will vote yes. Even though there are those that are going to do their best to either rig it or to try to manipulate it. But Nigeria, even with the existence of such